Hi, I'm Roger Stein, and you're listening to the Voice of Veritas podcast, where we dig into the truth and information. With me today is David Noy, Vice President of Software-Defined Storage and Appliance at Veritas. Welcome.
Thanks, Roger. Appreciate it.
Yes. Well, let's dig into the Access Appliance today.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Veritas has been offering Access as a software-defined storage solution for a while now. Isn't offering Access as an appliance a contradiction?
Well, I mean, sure, to say it's an appliance is a contradiction. Actually, it's still Veritas software on top of a hardware platform. The appliance is really just a different form factor for customers who prefer to purchase the software in a different way. We've taken commodity-based hardware. We've basically written some intelligence to monitor that hardware, to manage the firmware on the hardware, and to make sure that it's always up to date. We provide you a full support experience from top to bottom, software through the hardware layer, which is a nice thing to have. Now, there's a lot of customers who have large existing server farms, who have chosen vendors that they want to go with in the hardware infrastructure realm. And for them, a software form factor is just great, and they're going to get a lot of value out of it. But then there'll be ones who don't necessarily want to go through the headache of managing their own hardware infrastructure or servers, who would like just an end-to-end package solution, but want to know that they have the peace of mind that they're not being locked into a specific vendor's hardware agenda. We provide that because our Access software can be decoupled from the hardware as well. Buying it in the prepackaged appliance form factor just gives you a form of convenience, and that's a convenience that many of our customers are looking for. Again, from a support perspective, now I'm not managing an application, which is Access, an operating system, in our case it's Red Hat Linux, and then commodity hardware. All of that is basically supported through a single vendor, Veritas.
So we just make it really easy for them to get up and running very quickly with the software. Also, if they buy an Access appliance and then sometime in the future they decide they'd like to go back to using their own hardware, are we locking them into our hardware, or can they just get the software separately?
We'll actually sell the hardware and software licenses separately. If you buy it as an appliance, you basically buy a hardware and a software license which come together as a bundle, but you could use your software licenses separately. Alternatively, customers who bought the appliance or the Access software kind of on their own could decide later that they want to buy our appliance and buy the hardware that we sell, which integrates tightly into the product.
That's sort of an innovative model, isn't it? Not many other vendors offer the separate software license and hardware license.
It's a new model that's kind of popped up in the last couple of years, and we're one of the few early adopters as well.
So the software has several different use cases. Is the Access appliance targeted to any specific use case?
Yeah, so the initial appliance that we're putting out is more of a high density, very good price for capacity model. So think of 880 terabytes in 4U on the actual drive chassis. So very, very high density, low cost workloads, and that tend to be more archive in nature. The initial one that we're really optimized for is a net backup long-term retention archive. So for customers who are Veritas customers already today using the net backup product, they may be using a net backup appliance as a place to put deduplicated net backup data with high performance access for different purposes. And they may eventually tier that off to tape, or they may tier it to cloud, or they may tier it to some other competitor's product. For those who are looking for kind of a second stage, which is still in the Veritas family, we don't really have a good offering for them. This plugs a gap for us. This gives them a kind of I don't use the words cheap and deep, but very low cost, high density alternative to tape, which is disk-based. Which means that you can still do things with that data. It's not basically dead data. Data that moves on a tape is largely inert, but provides the economics that you would expect at that capacity.
So it really complements the net backup appliances.
That's right. I would expect that if you're a net backup customer, you're looking where to put large volumes of data that have to be retained for a very long period of time in a very cost-effective way. This is a good disk-based solution for that customer.
So this is a new appliance for Veritas. Do we have any other appliances planned in the future? Where do you see the appliance product lines going in the future?
Sure. I mean, we have a lot of stuff in the works right now. But just to give you a kind of a preview of a few things that are going on, we have an object storage product that we just recently announced. So Access is file-based storage. The object-based storage product is a software product initially. As Veritas, our DNA is software, so we bring out software first, and it will come in an appliance form factor as well in the next 12 months or so. There is another product that we're working on, which is a next generation data protection product. Certainly that one will come in appliance form factor as well. And then we'll be looking at different use cases around the Access product. So we talked about being more archive focused, more around the long-term retention, low cost, high density. But then there are more primary workloads that we'll start to look at that require a bit more performance or potentially even higher performance, maybe even smaller footprints, where some geos or some class of customers, different segments would require a starting point that's much smaller than the ones that we're coming out with initially. We'll provide those form factors as well. So we'll start to look at geographic requirements, different world, based on where you live in the world, there might be different requirements around capacity, different segments and of customers, different verticals around which we have specific applications that we want to deliver a product that's tuned to that particular vertical. Those will all drive different form factors of our Access appliance as well as our object storage appliance. So expect to see variants of those, as well as this next generation data protection appliance. A lot of stuff being cooked up right now.
All around based on the idea of making it easier for our customers to get up and running.
That's right.
Save
And
time and money.
to your point, all of these will show up as software products first, to a large extent, with a few exceptions here and there, and then be made into an appliance over time. So we maintain that we are a software company. We give customers choice.
Well, that's great. So just to kind of summarize our conversation, basically we're offering an Access appliance so our customer can get up and running very quickly now with the Access software, same as they do with the Net Backup software. And we have the new innovative model where we offer the software license separate from the hardware, so they're not really locked into hardware at all.
That's right. It's the same model that we used for Net Backup to the Net Backup appliance. Running it over again.
And we have a great plans for a lot of new appliances to...
expand our opportunity set beyond just a Net Backup, long-term retention appliance, for sure.
Okay, well, thanks very much for joining us today at the Voice of Veritas.
My pleasure. I've been happy to do it.
To find out more about the Access Appliance, visit veritas.com and check out the Access Appliance webpage.